going to do an insight video today, and this morning I'm sitting there and I'm sitting in the vibration of like consciousness and creation, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about creation, and like vibrations and frequencies are everywhere at the moment. We're sort of moving through different frequencies and vibrations, especially related to like the infinite sort of source energy, the infinite source creation. Each and every one of us has this vibration, this frequency, or these infinite vibrations within us. And creation, and is many aspects to that. We talk about like manifestation, which is something that's talked about within sort of spiritual sort of reality, and spiritual philosophy. And there's shiftings happening all the time, like with the integration of consciousness that's coming in this reality at the moment, and the integration of consciousness is coming from many different dimensions, many different realities with many different beings, and all the integration is always about aligning with you so that you wake up, or not wake up, but sort of align and start to access that eternal moment that each and every one of us are a creator. We are creators, and we are one. Basically, we are one. This is the whole sort of notion of this integration of consciousness and the keys of consciousness at the moment, all about oneness. But within that oneness is many infinite vibrations and frequencies that are available to us, and part of the consciousness shift at the moment for many of us beings within this reality are around that, is around that, about us understanding that there's infinite consciousness and infinite sort of vibrations and frequencies. There is no limitation, there is only infinite potential, and consciousness is always expanding and always evolving. And as is creation is this expansive vibration and frequency, and so is consciousness. And at any moment, again, this is about us being able to align and see and understand that within each, within the vibration, the frequency of this eternal moment is access to everything is available. And again, this is the notion of creation and the creator, and the fact that we are sort of creation and a creator, and the fact that everything is always available, everything is always there, and as creators, creation moves through us and as us, and this is the understanding, this is the awakening to a new consciousness or a new awareness. But it's not new, it's always been. It's just that we're at a level of consciousness now and awareness where we're starting to be able to expand and open up to realise this. So manifestation is always something that's been talked about spiritual philosophy, and I think it's moving again. The consciousness and the awareness is moving from manifestation to creation. So what really is the difference between manifestation and creation? So like when you're in the eternal moment and you're connected to your source energy and your soul and this multi-dimensional being, there's nothing that you need to necessarily create. You just need to be open to open your energy, expand your consciousness, and creation then will align and will come in. You need to be in a creative space of creation where the soul is expanding and vibrating in a frequency of union and alignment, and then the soul will naturally bring things online that are needed within your reality for the highest outcome, the highest vision. Not even the highest vision, but it's the infinite vision, the infinite outcome. I don't like the word higher. I've always talked about the word higher, lower. I don't like any of those kind of notions. When I've been sort of doing a lot of like channeling lately, related to like spiritual sort of wisdom, the guides or the beings, or when sort of like I align or link in. Some people talk about councils. I feel there's like a collective that works with me, a collective of beings with different sort of like wisdom and insight, and they align with me, or with my energy, my vibration, my frequency, and bring through insight and wisdom. And they don't like the word higher or lower, like in spiritual philosophy they don't like anything like that. And the reason why they don't like any kind of labels is they feel that sort of like it limits, because it's saying that one is either like higher or lower, is sort of like that is saying like a label, and in a sense it separates. And the one thing that they try and bring through the energy is separation or non-separateness. this notion of oneness and this notion of being aligned and being unified and being in one vibration. They are always saying that we are them and they are us. We are the same. We are creation. We're in creation. All is the same. And this is what I've been talking about as well around reality. Reality is like there's many different vibrational frequencies of reality, and they're all working in union and harmony for one. They're working for the whole. They're working in source of vibration, frequency, and creation. And this is how it works in the other dimensions, realities, and realms. That all beings are conscious, and all beings know they're part of the whole. All beings know they're part of one. There's no separation. There's no limitation. But they also know whatever vibration and frequency that they are working or creating or not manifesting, but creation, that they're working through creation on that vibration, that frequency, that they are doing it for the whole. And they whether some being is working from say, people say dimensional. I don't even like the dimensional conversation, which is like, this is how it's shifted for me lately, because I've been doing a lot of spiritual philosophy and insight and wisdom, and working with beings for a long time. And I've always sort of like gone through the spiritual sort of like philosophy of like dimensional reality and stuff like that. And we do talk about dimensional reality, like the third is out there, is the physical reality. But the physical reality is also still connected to the fourth dimension, which is transformation, the fifth dimension, which is heaven on earth, and the sixth dimension, which is creation and creator, vibration and frequency. Now we break that down because it's trying to give people sort of like an insight into, but those vibrations are not separate, they work as one. And with the union in higher dimensions and realities, it's exactly the same. Although a being may be working on what you call like an infinite dimension, which is just a different one. We say like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, whatever level of dimension that we discuss. At that level of dimension, it brings a consciousness, it brings an aspect of creation, it brings an aspect of source. Now, it's not about it being higher or lower, it just means it's part of that aspect of source. Because the knowledge and wisdom that's available in these higher dimensions and higher realities is so infinite. And being in this human form, we have to somehow try and sort of like look at it and define it and come up with some sort of term of it, because it's really hard to understand it within this form. So this is why we talk about dimensional reality. But in reality, dimensional reality is not separate. Nothing is separate. Everything is part of the whole. And this is what, when they talk about like creation, they don't talk about manifestation, because manifestation, in that sense, I think with manifestation, with the vibration and the frequency, was the starting point of starting to step onto the conscious awareness of creation, because creation is everything. As manifestation is only an aspect of creation. So it's like it's shifting into a deeper sort of not even a deeper, but like a more expansive understanding. And again, you see, this is me using human terms as I use my channel of energy and light here. I use human terms because that is a way of understanding, it's a way of identifying. However, it's not in that way within the higher dimensions and realities. It's not about sort of looking at things and identifying them as something separate. They're not. They're the part of one, the wholeness. They're unified with all of it. So like manifestation is like an aspect of creation, and I'm saying it in that term so it makes sense. But creation is everything, and within that creation vibration and frequency, everything is available. But creation is everything. Consciousness and creation are the two aspects of source that are available to each and every being, and consciousness and creation work in pure union to bring reality and dimensional experience. And again, dimensional experience, I've talked about this. Dimensional experience is an infinite experience. It's not limited to like the first, second, third, or fourth. And also consciously, we move through those we move through those different vibrations, and we'll move through those vibrations depending on what's needed within this reality to integrate consciousness, so we can start to, as beings collectively. And another shifting that's happening to me lately is we talk about the I am presence, and the I am presence is like an awakening or an awareness of your infinite source energy, and it starts with like but the I am, again, in that sense, when we sort of look at it in those terms, again, the I am is like looking at as like I am as a vibration. So it's the first sort of like step on transformation of the awareness that you are an I am vibration, that you are a creator. But then it shifts, and within the higher dimensions, they don't talk about I am, they talk about we. And they talk about we because it's a collective. Everything is a collective vibration, a collective frequency. So nothing is separate, and everything is part of the whole. And this is the real shift on consciousness and creation and awareness for many of us as beings here now, is the awakening that we are a collective. And we are a collective here, but we're a collective there as well. And this is part of an aspect of the multi-dimensional aspects of our being, that we are part of a collective within other dimensions and realities, that we are connected, we are unified to that, to source energy and creation and consciousness, but we're also a collective here. But the collective's not separate, it's part of a whole infinite vibrational frequency of creation and consciousness and source. So in that dimension and this dimension, there is no dimensions, they are just one vibration, one frequency in that sense. Like, so it's not even like dimensions and realities, it's consciousness. And consciousness is ever expansive in this infinite sort of experiences, but the infinite consciousness is infinite creation, and each being is on a conscious is like each being is in a stream of consciousness, and that stream of consciousness is part of creation, and it's part of those infinite streams of consciousness are all sort of being created and manifested for a collective vision, a collective consciousness, a collective shifting here, as well as in infinite dimensions and realities. And I say dimensions and realities, but I say they're streams of consciousness. That's how I would explain them, because it's not even a dimension or a reality, because a dimension says something is separate when it's not. It's all part of the same. There's not, everything's a stream of consciousness, and stream of consciousness is expansive, an expansive consciousness of infinite vibrations and frequencies, and we are in that stream of consciousness, but we're also that infinite expansive stream of consciousness is creation, and the creation again is this expansive expansive sort of like vibrations and frequencies, and within those streams of consciousness is like creation, but is wisdom, is insight, is awareness. But it's all about sort of like all being harmonized, all being part of the whole, all being part of one eternal moment, so that nothing is ever really separate. It's just we use human terms to identify it and make sense of it, when actually really there is no separation. There's just this one vibration, this one frequency. And this is what I feel the collective that work with me are trying to tell me this, and again, each and every day it's coming through to me, and it's coming through to me through creation and consciousness, and the awareness that I'm part of this greater whole, that also then I can then step and create and manifest, not even manifest again, but like create within that stream of consciousness, the new consciousness that is being integrated within my experience, my reality. Then I can sort of always be connected. I can always be like part of that union. And then also it's about again, we talk about like ascended masters, and we talk about self-mastery. Even like the self is another terminology that we use within spiritual philosophy. But self is an infinite again. It's an infinite sort of expression of creation. It's an infinite expression of consciousness. Self doesn't start and it doesn't end. It's infinite. So again, it's like we use the terminology, and the collective use the terminology of the infinite self. Again, it's about that. It's about that understanding. So self-mastery really is, again, a limited term in that sense, because it's an infinite self. So self-mastery is like the understanding that you are a creator, that we are a creator. It's not even you, we are a creator, and we are creation. And that's what they keep, that's the message that I keep getting. We are creation, we are creator, we are one. This is the message I'm getting constantly from this like collective. It's like we are the creator, we are consciousness, and we are one. And that's the mantra but it's also living within that eternal and infinite creation of vibration and frequency that's always available. And this is like the self mastery, and it's sort of like, so this is like ascended masters were bringing this consciousness and this awareness through many sort of expansive evolution of spiritual wisdom and insight and understanding, and as they have and again, this was the other thing that they come through yesterday. Creation is like there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow, there's no next year. There's just this eternal moment, and even this notion of like the spiritual philosophy of the power of now. Well, now doesn't really exist. All that exists is this infinite consciousness and this infinite expansive vibration and frequency of creation. There is no time. And again, this is another thing that is integrating within my consciousness now, that we're just a vibration. And as long as we live within that vibration, that frequency, or express within, I don't even like the word live, it's express. Express is like a soulful sort of vibrational frequency. You express it, you express creation within that eternal moment. And again, this is all about that shifting of consciousness and awareness as we move past limitation into the infinite. That's the insight for today. Please comment any questions or anything like that. Please comment, put them down there. Follow, like, share. And we can start to like try to like answer these questions and sort of align more as this collective consciousness and this collective creation that we are. And know that you're never separate. That you're always you're always connected. You're always that whole sort of like infinite self is always available in that eternal moment and expressed through it. And that's the really key thing. Start to express through that infinite moment. Have a great day.